have got to go.
I say hey, hey, ho, ho.
These racist cops have got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho.
These racist cops have got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho.
These racist cops have got to go.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what America looks like.
This is what America looks like.
Show me what America looks like. Whose streets?
Our streets.
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 Okay, sir. Name and badge. Name and badge, sir.
What was that?
Name and badge.
Oh, 603.
603?
Sure.
What's your name?
Tone.
Huh?
Tone.
Okay. So you got R.J. Miller. Badge number, sir? I can't read. Badge number? You're covering the number. It's 31 something.
Looks like 3185.
3185, okay. Name and badge, sir?
Sorry?
Name and badge?
Campbell 6193.
6193.
Our streets. Our streets. Our streets. Our streets. Our streets. Our streets. Our streets.
Name and badge, sir?
Our streets.
Name and badge.
Our streets.
4790 what? 4705?
6999.
That's your ID? 6990.
6999.
That's your ID? He gave me his ID.
Look it up now?
Fellas, I need names and badges if you're sticking around. Name and badge, please.
I'm Officer Mendoza, ID 20623.
All right, thank you. Name and ID. Name and ID.
Alpha 19445.
Okay. Name and ID.
Officer Portillo, 18652 out of San Diego area. How you doing tonight? Okay.
Name and ID. Mr. Jimmy Stick. Name and ID, please. Be sticking around. Name and ID, please. Name and ID, sir. What? What's up with the Jimmy Stick? What's your name and badge? I can't hear you. I can't hear that fucker. Yeah. Name and ID. Name and ID.
7804.
These racist cops have got to go.
Bottom of the barrel people right here. Bottom of the barrel. Name and ID. Name and ID. Name and ID. Name and ID.
Sanchez 16594.
What's your name and ID, sir? Name and ID. If I didn't get it already, what a piece of shit.
No racism! If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. Our streets, our streets, our streets, our streets.
Did I catch you already, sir? Name and ID? C. Pate. What number are you? Silent treatment? It's in your manual for you to identify yourself, sir. 919, an officer must identify themselves. Well, I got your name, Pate. Fuckers not on identifying themselves. It's real.
People of color have the right to exist. People of color have the right to exist.
No peace. No racist police.
No justice.
Jay Kern.
Police. No justice.
No peace.
No racism.
Police.
No justice.
No peace.
No racism.
Police.
What's your name and ID?
Peace.
No racism.
Name and ID, sir.
No justice.
No peace.
It's in your manual, your name and ID.
Whose street?
Our street.
Whose street?
Our street.
Whose street?
Our street.
I'm gonna fucking remember that shit.
Whose street?
Our street.
Sick and tired of y'all fucking...
Our street.
Whose street?
Our street.
They're not identifying themselves.
Raul Rivera.
We're demanding justice for.
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 Raul Rivera.
Rosca.
Police.
D. Rosca.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No racism.
Police.
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 Who are demanding justice for?
Raul Rivera.
Who are demanding justice for?
Raul Rivera. Raul Rivera. Raul Rivera.
What do you want?
Justice.
When do you want it?
Now.
What do you want?
Justice.
When do you want it?
Now.
What do you want?
Justice.
When do you want it?
Now.
If we don't get it.
Shut it down.
If we don't get it.
Shut it down.
If we don't get it.
Shut it down.
Hey, hey. Ho, ho.
These racist cops have got to go. These racist cops have got to go.
Name and badge. Name and badge, sir. Fucking identifying yourself, man.
Months ago, my uncle Raul Rivera was murdered by 3 San Diego police officers off the intersection of Hollister and Tacayo Avenue in South Bay, San Diego. Hours prior to Raul being murdered, a community member called 911 to report him as a jumper when he was positioning himself at an overpass near Savin Boulevard. After Raul expressed that he was depressed to officers, they were able to talk him down, but Raul was allowed to walk away without any of his family being notified or being taken in for a psychological observation. As the day progressed, his cry for help was met with extreme violence from San Diego police. Raul was walking near the intersection of Hollister Street and Tacayo Avenue when he was approached by Border Patrol agents who then called SDPD. According to witnesses and multiple videos caught on the scene, there was close to 30 officers that surrounded that intersection. It took less than 15 minutes from moments officers arrived on the scene for 3 officers, William Carter Torres, Michael Martinez, and Samuel Rodriguez, to murder Raul Rivera. Officers shot Raul over 20 times and continued to shoot him after he had fallen to the ground, and then handcuffed his unmoving body. It took 15 to 20 minutes for paramedics to arrive. Upon arrival, he was already deceased. He remained in that street dead and handcuffed for 12 hours until the next morning. From beginning to end, Raul's humanity was never seen by officers. He was completely dehumanized. Raul always suffered from mental health, and he needed psychological treatment so that he can heal from his wounds and trauma, not to be criminalized or to be executed in the street. What happened to Raul is not an isolated act of violence, but rather a systematic act of violence that has a historical context. It's an act of violence that overwhelmingly impacts people of color. It impacts low-income people of color. It impacts low-income people of color who have a mental illness. It impacts various underrepresented communities. And the more underrepresented identities you have, the more threats of violence you receive, and at times all happening at the same time. We are here to say that our various underrepresented communities are not disposable.
That's right.
You don't get to kill us, you don't get to terrorize us, and think that we are not going to get up and fight back. In spite of the pain, we will rise every day and resist your white supremacy and hate.
That's right.
These officers killed my uncle, but they can't kill his truth, his voice, or his story.
All right.
Me and my family are now Raul's voice, and we're not going to let anybody silence it. We demand that the prosecution and indictment of the 3 officers who killed Raul Rivera The officers who interacted with Raul when he was called in as a jumper be held accountable for negligence. The SDPD releases the official police report and all body cam videos. And lastly, the SDPD provides counseling services to the families and children that witnessed the murder. Here at today's rally, we're not only demanding justice for Raul Rivera, but for all underrepresented communities to live a life free of violence. The families of Earl McNeil, Alfred Alongo, and grassroots organizers from United Against Police Terror will also speak at this rally to share their stories and to demonstrate that what happened to Raul is not an isolated act of violence, but rather a systematic act of violence towards our underrepresented communities. Our next speaker is Raul's sister, Flora.
Press anything, you're just talking to it. No. Hi.
I have to hold it up. Well, my hands are a little shaky.
Hello.
What I'm going to share with you is the trauma that I feel as a family member, and along with the other family members that are here, the Longos, and for the McNeil family that may not be here, and then for these folks for the family here. When someone dies because they're ill, you cry and you will miss them and you grieve for them. But when someone is in your family is shot down and killed, it breaks every piece of you. I personally feel that from being a higher energetic goer and getter every day of my life, mother of 3, career woman, I stand before you as a broken woman now, with a broken heart. As my daughter shared, and by all of you just walking in this hot sun demonstrating that this type of violence needs to stop. Mm-hmm. If the signs on the cars and everything say protect and serve, my brother was not protected and certainly not served when he was on that overpass of that freeway. Mm-hmm. Like many other parents and brothers and sisters and loved ones, you go through different types of emotion. The witnesses that saw my brother shot down, we still don't know the accurate count because we don't have the medical examiner's report nor the police report. Sometime in August is what they're saying. We're going to hold them to it. Of course, we still have yet to see those body cams. There was over 20 to 30 officers surrounding my brother. There has to be footage. There has to be footage. I still have the image in my head, and it runs through my head at least 3 to 4 times a day just by seeing that video that was released on the internet. Though his body, his upper torso was blurred out and you couldn't see his face, I knew it was him because he came into our lives when he was a baby. So my brother Tony, that is not here with us today, present, taught him how to walk, and he always had that little waddle when he ran. So during that video, when he was going in circles, not knowing where to go, all I could see was his feet in that waddle position, just running in circles. I cannot get that image out of my head. And every day when I stand in front of that mirror, trying to be the productive person that I was, I see somebody else. It's hard for me to put on my face and do my hair and walk out like the glam woman that everybody knows me to be, because I can't stop crying to put on that face for everybody else, because I lost part of myself the day my brother was murdered and shot down as if he was being hunted. No one deserves to die that way.
Right.
So many days I have my mother that lives with me that is 86 years old. My children are brokenhearted to see me like this. Because as my daughter always says, Mama, you're the mama bear. Mom, you're the matriarch of this family. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm broken into pieces and I'm just trying to pick them up. Along with the families that are present here today, and there's so many other families that don't come to light, but they're out there. They're out there, that somebody that they love has either been beaten up or killed, whether it's one shot. It only takes you one bullet to kill you. Why did my brother have to have over 20 bullets riddled in his body? Where was the crisis counselors? Where was the crisis team? If in less than 15 minutes and 20 to 30 officers were surrounding him, no one had the education nor the training to say, let's defuse this. Let's calm this man down. He's not going anywhere. That wasn't done. So I am calling, I'm challenging and calling out to every chief of police in this county, every council member, every mayor, every wannabe elected official, step out and do something else.
Yes.
Set a precedent for San Diego. Nobody even gave a press release for my brother, nor did they for the McNeils. And did they for your family? Did they step out and say, we are investigating this? No, as if it didn't happen. It happened, folks. It happened. And sometimes my first scream, when my brother Louis called me and then the detective called me to tell me what happened, I screamed so loud I threw that phone down. I threw myself on the ground. I rolled on the ground and then I picked up the phone to finish hearing the rest of it. But I can't keep screaming that way every day and scare my poor mother and my neighbors. So I scream a silent scream, and it goes like this. Every day.
No justice.
No peace.
No racist.
Police.
No justice.
No peace.
No kill 'em.
Police.
What do we want?
Justice.
Where do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
Where do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
Where do we want it?
Now.
All right, we're going to have Tasha Williams share about what she does and about Earl McNeil, and we're going to have other families speak as well.
Just got an overheating warning.
Hi, my name is Tasha Williamson. I'm here on behalf of the family of Earl McNeil. Earl McNeil was killed the day before Raul Rivera. He was in the care and custody of National City Police Department, taken to the booking station of the Central Jail Sheriff's Department, and then he was taken to UCSD after he had medical distress and stopped breathing. We've been asking for the same things that the Raul Rivera family has been asking for, and we have not received them. National City, San Diego PD, and the Sheriff's Department need to take the lead that Silver Lake officers did when their bullets actually pierced the body of the manager at Trader Joe's. They not only released the video, they released a statement apologizing for what had happened. We are asking that San Diego County law enforcement, when they do something wrong, that they admit it and they release the video to the public. We think it is an egregious act for police departments all over this county to cover up their actions and be afraid to apologize because they took the actions that they took. We think that this family is not asking for, the Raul Rivera and the Earl McNeil family are not asking for things that can't happen. They're asking for things that should be a part of a law enforcement's policy. It should be a part of a law enforcement's procedures. The family, if not the public, should know every detail of what happened to their loved one. It was their loved one. And we think that these departments are doing an egregious act, and they are causing more trauma to a family they've already traumatized. Martin Luther King once said, "When will America be true to what is said on paper? When will the police department be true to what is said on paper? Serving the public, protecting the law, protecting us. When you do something wrong, you need to reconcile and atone for it. And if you do not, then we will keep coming. We not only will keep coming, we will hit you from all sides." So we stand with the Raul Rivera family, that stands with the Earl McNeil family, that stands with the Alongo family, that stands with the Sergio Wick family and the Jonathan Cornell family, and there are so many, many more families. We ask them to continue to stand and continue to fight, and that we need policies and procedures changed. We are tired. There are laws that are being created for things that should already be a part of their policy and procedures. We should not have to create laws that say it's a federal crime to lynch us. We should not have to create laws that call for police accountability, that said killing, shooting should not be your first response. We should not be creating laws that say we will know who the officers are. They are city employees, and when they do something that is detrimental to the community or harmful or cause outcry, we should know the officers' names. We should also know their backgrounds like they put our backgrounds out, because we believe that they are professional killers. We believe that they are professional brutalizers, and we believe that it should stop. Thank you.
We'd like to have Karina Martinez come up and share her story about her loved one.
First and foremost, I want to extend my sincerest condolences to the families present that have lost anyone to police brutality. The fact that we even have to be here and hold this rally is shameful and it's disgraceful. We need to hold the police accountable. They can't just come into our communities and terrorize us and brutalize us. My parents and my family have been victims of police brutality. My father and my brother were terrorized. They were physically assaulted by the sheriffs. To see something like that happen, to see two men in handcuffs getting just beaten on by police is disgusting and it is shameful. And in our present, democracy, and in 2018, it shouldn't be happening. What has happened to all of our families is not going to go away. We're not going to be silenced. We will not stop until every one of those police officers are held accountable and are fired and are pursued and are prosecuted for their crimes, because what they did to our families is a crime. What they've done to our communities is a crime. And I think that we have all, as a community, have had enough, and we will not be silent. Thank you.
State terrorism, that's what it is. State terrorism.
Tony Alongo is going to speak off of Alfred Alongo's story.
Hello, my name is Tony Abuka, Alfred Olango's youngest brother.
Can't hear you.
My name is Tony Abuka, Alfred Olango's youngest brother. September 27, 2016, my brother was going through an emotional breakdown. His best friend committed suicide the week prior. He was going through some issues and committed suicide. My brother considered him like a younger brother. He took care of him. He was going through a lot of different issues. After that took place, it took a real big effect on him. Throughout that week, it proceeded. He had some issues going on. That day, he went to go see my sister. He went to her house. She knew something was going on. She wanted to help him, but she personally had to go to work. So she was calling. She called the police department. She wanted to call the 5150 in. She knew what was taking place because she's a nurse. She's a trained nurse, so she's handled situations like this before. She placed 3 calls in the time span of an hour. They said that it wasn't at the top of their priority list to come and help. After the hour took place, they finally came. It took less than a minute for them to approach my brother. They cornered him. One officer tased him, and the other officer fired multiple shots. He had no weapon, and actually they kept the video footage. They took everybody's phones from the crime scene and they kept the video footage. They released a picture before they released the video in order to paint a picture. There's not too many cases where they will release a picture of a still frame and not release the whole video. They wanted a picture to be painted because they knew that they had committed a murder and they did something wrong. They wanted to cover it up. My brother was a family-oriented person. He loved everybody, and that's why it was such a big effect on him when his best friend committed suicide. What we're doing with we've also created our own organization, the Alfred Olengo Foundation, and we're doing it in his name. One of the things we want to do is bring multiple families together and make sure that we support each other. It's a real big impact when there's a lot of support. Because when that took place, one of the main things that brought our family up was the community coming out. Because there's a lot of different things that take place, and to see that it really affects other people just as much as it affects you is something that's really huge, and it can really build somebody up after somebody's been torn down. I really just want to say thank you for everybody coming out and showing support, because staying together is the only way we're really going to affect change. I have my Uncle Charlie here with me, and he's actually going to speak more on a couple of things we're doing with the foundation and just pushing forward in Alfred's name. All right, thank you.
I am actually very humble that people took time away from their families, so forth, to come here and brave the hot sun, at least to show support for Raul. Raul is gone from us, not because of anything we have done, but because of what the police has done. We have been doing this for a long time. Now, when Alfred Olengo was killed, there was a lot of outpouring within the community. There was a lot of support because it was fairly new. The other people who were killed before Alfred, their death was not very much publicized as much as Olengo's. But when Alfred was killed, that was when the people woke up and said something really wrong in our community. There's something very wrong. So there was a lot of outpouring. And over the months following that, we tried very hard to keep the memory of Alfred Olengo in our minds. There was the Olengo village. We were always having rallies upon rallies upon rallies. So we never let Olengo's memory die. And this is something that we can use our experience to tell the other families who have recently experienced police violence. Don't let
This is a rally for
Raul's memory die. Don't let Sergio's memory die. Because they are counting on us. They are counting on us. They are saying, please don't let me die in vain. Because we all came into this country of our own free will. We wanted to be here. We chose to be here. There are so many Americans who were born here, they didn't have a choice. But we chose to be here because we wanted to be here. And they're killing us for it. And they're killing us for it. I want to say something. And you see, I keep thinking, every time I hear somebody is killed, I keep thinking, why? Who are these people who are killing people? Then I started noticing some patterns. Have you noticed that they kill you very quickly? Once you call the police arrive, they kill you off very quickly. That essentially means they don't care the circumstances around which they were brought. They just came and they quickly kill you off. Number one. Number two, they shot you multiple times. Raul was shot over 20 times. Sergio was shot over 20 times. Jonathan was shot over 20 times. In my mind, I am saying, it can be explained, I don't know how, but it can be explained, the first bullet, the second bullet, the third bullet. What is the 17th bullet for? What is the 18th bullet for? Guess what? It is dehumanizing you. It is the same as spitting on your corpse. It is making a very poignant statement. We hate you.
Yep.
We hate you and we want you gone. And we're going to continue killing you. Because their ultimate goal is for you to be scared and succumb to their will. Okay. Another thing, why do they always want to hide it?
That's right.
Why do they always want to hide? They don't want anybody to know what happened. A policeman is not an angel. Nobody is an angel here. We make mistakes. We make mistakes and the police can also make mistakes. But the thing with them is they really to protect and hide their mistakes. They don't want to say, we made a big mistake, please, sorry, we are members of your community. So they want to make sure that you, the dead guy who was shot 20 times, it was your fault. The 19th time they shot you was your fault. The 20th time they shot you was your fault. Why is it that good men and good women from our community, if you have served in the military, please raise your hand. You served in the community. United States military is voluntary. You go if you want to. People voluntarily go to fight for the freedom that we all run to. These very same men, they go and put their lives at risk. Many of them don't come back. Some of them come back with situations. Okay? They come here, they get into civilian life, they pick them, and they say, you can now use your experience to serve the community. Join the police force. These very same men and women who fought for our democracy, once they put that uniform on, they are taught wherever in the police academy to hate. They come ready to kill. I got a video of a man who was stopped by a cop. When the cop came out, the cop just got him out. He put his hand down. Then he was handcuffed. Then another cop. Have you noticed? It's not always the first cop in who shoots. It's the second cop or the third cop. Then he came and just tased this guy while he's already handcuffed. What was that for? It is making a statement because they also know they are going to get away with it. And getting away with it is key because, ladies and gentlemen, this is our community, our little community. We are in a church parlance. We are preaching to the choir. We need to go where they hear us. Because there is white America. We appreciate all the white people who are here because you understand. Because this is also your community and most of the policemen are making white America look bad. So what we are saying is this. We need to go to them because they are not they are certainly not coming to us. And while they are not coming to us, we are the 6 o'clock news. That is the sum total of our importance. We are just 6 o'clock news. Yeah. So in the coming months, in the coming weeks, and so forth, we are going to start working with each and every families. And we're going to start talking with a louder voice. Because this is a campaign. We can do this really here. But this is not just the end of it. There needs to be something else being done underneath. Because until we stop playing the victim role in this American narrative, they will always continue to victimize us. Let's make them uncomfortable. Let's make them look bad. Not only among themselves, let the police look at themselves in the mirror. This is my problem. I know a lot of policemen. who are good men. And I'll tell you what, I have a friend whose daughter is gone completely messed up in the head. One day in Chula Vista, I called the police. Said there's a young man, there's a young lady here who needs help. And we talked to the police. This policeman came with a mental health expert. He drove in with a mental health expert. We talked to him and said, where's the police? And he said, look, we are going to assess her right now because she's over 18. If she passes our assessment, then there's nothing we can do about it. Do you understand? And I said, yes, of course. They went and assessed this lady, and the lady failed the assessment. They took her to the mental health clinic, hospital in Chula Vista. It was a very professionally done court, and we felt that they were there for us. And the reason I bring this up is this. They know how to do it right. The police knows how to do it right. They just don't want to do it right because it is you. It is you. It is not one of them. We are therefore going to say this. If we want this to stop, if we really, really want this to stop, one thing that is going to happen, and you're going to be noticing right away, the police is going to start trying to divide the families. The families, one against another and so forth, because they don't want her speaking with one voice, because if it can be pointed that, look, these families are suffering, but they're fighting among themselves. Or even within the family, they are fighting among themselves. That is going to be the narrative we're going to keep, so we cannot, so they cannot, the focus cannot be on them. It is our responsibility collectively to make sure it doesn't happen. Each family has its own issues. There are some big families, there are some small families, there are some issues with families. Every single family has issues. But we need to rise above those and let the families speak at least about their tragedy. Because Sergio doesn't care what their problems they have in the family. Alfred doesn't care about what their problem is in the family. All they want is this: don't let my death be in vain. And for all of you, I say, everybody who has died, let's not let that death be in vain. Because the Olango family and us, we are going to continue the struggle. Thank you very much.
Next up, we're going to have Kat from United Against Police Terror to talk about their community work that they do and 2 legislation bills that Shirley Weber had proposed. It's not only our right to collectively come together and demand for justice, but we also need to know what legislations that need to be changed so that we can make justice within the laws as well. So we're going to have some handouts be passed around that was from the ACLU about who is our local and state legislator, and also another document that goes into what your rights are if you were approached or stopped by police. Because we want to have action-oriented steps, but we want you to know what your rights are, because we have rights. Okay? Right. So, thank you. So here's Kat.
Since we're talking about action items, how about we talk about in the meantime? Of course, we're going to be voting this November. Of course, we're going to be, attacking police terror at all angles. But if I can plant the seed with all of you and say, what if we took the time, the money, the energy, the investment in doing everything we can in our community to prevent what police do, to help prevent what police do, everything in our power, in addition to having these rallies of visibility when somebody passes, when there's another stolen life. And that's when Jesse, Kate, a few other people, we film police. So in the meantime, when hopefully Senate Bill will get 1421 will pass, as well as 931, which is use of force. Very important bills. I also believe that there's a bill that Todd Gloria is passing, talking about having approval for police departments in order to get fund for militarized equipment. So, in the meantime, our call of action is for people to join us. Freedom of press goes along with freedom of speech. This is our peaceful protest to protect our community. We're protectors. We don't really consider ourselves protesters anymore. We don't consider ourselves activists. We're definitely on the defense, defending our community. I also would like to mention there is a family that I forgot to mention earlier, and that is the family of Thongsoon Valasane. In May 2016, he was shot 40 times in Southeast in Kanto. They actually were aiming, or their target was the house that he was pulling out of with his car, and they shot him 40 times. San Diego police. So if you can consider, keep that family in your prayers. And yeah, join us for community walks. You have a right to film. You don't have to answer any questions. Our camera is our weapon. So in the meantime, until people in political offices hear us loud enough for them to make changes, especially time in Trump, we have to be on the defense. We have to protect one another. So I urge all of you to film police. Film police. And need any advice, want to go on a community walk with us, please do. A lot of you know where to find me, so.
Thank you, Kat. We're going to be closing out, but the last two speakers, next we'll have Mark Lane, who's a private investigator and also an activist, and then I'll be closing out for today. Thank you all for hanging tight in this hot sun.
I get asked to speak at these rallies a lot, and every time I get asked, I don't know what to say anymore. And my heart is and my soul are broke, because I look at our small group right here, and I see all my beautiful brothers and sisters of color, and I know one thing's a fact. There's only two kinds of people of color. The ones that have been touched by police violence, and the ones that haven't been touched by police violence yet. And that breaks my soul. I get phone calls 7 days a week from community organizers from all over the country and from families. And every time I see a number come up on my screen that I don't know, I know that it's a family in crisis. And I know it's going to be a family of color 9.9 times out of 10. The violence is systemic. The violence is targeted. The violence has a reason. Mr. Alongo shared that reason with you. They hate you. I don't know what to do anymore. Every single day I go out and I fight. I sit with these families. We represent the Martinez family. We represent the Rivera family. We represent the McNeil family. I listen to them cry. I listen to their pain. I listen to their helplessness, their hopelessness, and we try to help them reconstruct whatever we can to make them whole again, and you can't make them whole again. And I know that at any minute I'm going to get another phone call, and it's going to be another family that's been touched by police violence. My job as a white male, and nobody told me this was my job, is to be a shield. My job is to be out there in front, because we are the ones that constructed this. We're the ones that need to deconstruct this. My job is every single time a police official or a DA says we can't do this because, is to stand in their face and say bullshit. That's my job, and that's what I do every single day. And I do it unapologetically, and I'll do it today and I'll do it tomorrow. I don't know what else to do because they don't listen. I can tell you this, when you hear a police chief like Chief Rodriguez in National City say, we can't release the tapes because it's an active investigation. Well, guess what I did on Thursday with the Martinez family? was cases under active investigation, 2 separate investigations. I sat with both Gerardo Jr. and Gerardo Sr. who were assaulted and beaten while they were in handcuffs by sheriff's deputies, and we watched the body cam tapes. That's why every single time they tell you something, you stand up right in their face. You don't stand back and you say bullshit. It's the only way they're going to listen to us. It's the only way. We can't bring back Alfred Alongo. We can't bring back the trauma that this family's suffering. We can't bring back Raul, Jonathan, Earl, Sergio. But we can work our asses off to make sure it doesn't happen to your brother or your father or your son or your nephew or your cousin. Again, I don't know what to say anymore. This is, it's impossible for me to put the feelings I have and the shame I have as a white person, knowing what we've done and what we continue to do. Thank you for listening to me scream bullshit every single time. Don't ever not scream it. Scream it as loud as you can and scream it in their face. Thank you.
Me and my family, just really on the bottom of our hearts, we want to thank you all for being here and being in community with us and being in solidarity with us. As you can see, this act of violence has a long historical root, and that, you know, some of those stories we're here today, and that's just here in San Diego. It's pervasive all across the nation, and it has continued to be. And it's extremely difficult to rise every day in pain and take a moment to grieve, and then I have to think to myself, okay, Bree, you grieved what you needed to feel right now, but now you have to go fight because you're your uncle's voice now, and you always will be. And like I said earlier, they may have killed Raul, they may have killed Alfred Alongo and Jonathan Cornell and Earl McNeil, but their voices and stories will always live on because we have to always continue to fight for it and share those stories and share those names so that they don't die. So this won't be the last time that we gather, and there will be a lot of collaboration among families. We are families united for justice, and we're going to continue to fight in all different ways, not just only demonstration, but on a local and national level. And we're going to be hitting that DA who has a very powerful position to prosecute these cases, and it continuously